Welcome to the Love Coach podcast. I'm here with the one and only Andres. Coach Andres, how are you doing today, buddy?
Great to see you, Alex. I love this new situation we're in the sense of inviting new guests, and I kind of might be spoiling the news right now, but I'm just that excited.
Yeah, because today you are not the main character. We have with
Nope.
us Coach Franca Villarroel. How are you doing, Franca?
Hi, Alex. Hi, Andres. It's an honor for me to be with you. Two beautiful men talking about love. How couldn't have been a better circumstances like that?
I'm so glad to have you here because I look at your content, I look at your life, what you're doing and providing to the women and to the men. It's amazing. So I want you to talk about how to be a high value woman, how to be confident with men in today's world. And we wanted to pick your brain a little bit, Coach Franca, if you can tell us what you think and also introduce us a little bit your life. How did you become a coach?
That's a lot of questions,
Yeah, I
Alex.
know. I have so many questions for you.
I can imagine. It's all about questions. And I like that. Maybe I would like to introduce myself so the people understand a little bit where I come from. And then I come to the first question that you ask, how to be a confident woman and how to find a confident man.
Mhm.
I'm a life and a business coach. As you know, I'm living in Spain since 20 years. I'm a mother of three kids. I myself have the story of being an actress like my cousin Andres today. I've been on stage and television 15 years, and then I started to use my emotions not only to presenting myself and feeding my ego, also to understand myself and help other people to understand themselves.
Mm.
And now I work as a life and business coach for companies, for managers, for women, men, kids, in ask questions in relationship, trauma, being more confident, mindset, whatever. I coach in three languages, Spanish, German, and English, and I coach all over the world to Tel Aviv, to New York, to Munich, to Madrid, whatever. So I'm very happy with that. I turned into a coach after being an actress I was a personal trainer in between. I had a little hiccup of my marriage being not so happy, so I divorced my husband that I married again.
Wow.
And I'm very happily married after 26 years, and we call it a hiccup. It was a wake up for me, and for me, the invitation as an actress to dive into my real wounds. And I did that, and I managed to marry my husband again after 4 years, having a third child, and living today a happy and healthy relationship of love. Um, because I went into self-development and into love myself. This is a little short story of my long story. And today I help women and men to find their love in themselves, to find confidence, to find security, and to find purpose in life.
Mm.
That is amazing. If I can ask you a question before we come back to how to find the confidence, but I think it will be related. What
Yes.
was the wake-up call for yourself? Working on your wounds, on your self-development, was it a book, a conversation, someone that you met? What made you change or starting the change, I should say?
Making me change was actually realizing that I was not able to love because I married my absolutely prince. I had my perfect life, being an actress, marrying the beautiful, wealthy, intelligent, good-looking man into a beautiful family, and I fucked it up. After 3 years, I had two little babies, and my husband and I were so separated emotionally, mentally, and physically that I cannot tell you how, Alex. So, and then it came to me that I had to look into myself because I was a very confident, or I thought I was a very secure and confident woman, because I was doing my career 15 years. I was on stage. I achieved a very nice career, let's say, being independent and so on. I was very proud of myself, and I was like, wow, I was this actress and so on. So it was all like protection layers of ego, of making sure that I am showing something that was not really my truth. It was a part of my passion, but not really in relationship and love, being connecting with somebody. There was missing something. And it was the connection to myself and the possibility and the responsibility to make myself happy and to feed my own needs by myself, not depending on the outside. Like, I need the attention of the man, then I'm worth. I need this big bank account, then I feel like secure and I made it, So I was making myself the slave of the outer applause. The more audience I had, the more clapping I had, the more castings I was achieving, the better I felt. But when I was in relationship, I was giving all the power to my husband. And when I give it to him, I gave all my possibilities and my resources to him, because I was depending on him. Okay, you have to give me respect. You have to look at me. You have to give me worship. You have to give me love, So, and all of a sudden in a relationship, it didn't function for me. For nobody, actually. So I was depending on the outside of my husband feeding my needs, and then I was running against the wall. And when I started, after my divorce, a therapy, my therapist really put me on a pot. And she asked me, okay, Franca, this sounds like a princess life. And what do you want now? I mean, it seems like, and I was like intimidated. I was like, I'm not a princess. I don't know what you're talking about, coming from a bear and blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, if you don't want to be a princess, what do you want to be? And who do you want to be? And then started my journey. And that was my own journey of responsibility, finding my own purpose, my light, my me. And when I started in that journey, the love to Matthias and the love between me and my divorced husband came back.
Mm.
Actually, it was flourishing because I was making him free from responsibility, from the pressure of you have to, I'm the victim and you are the savior and you have to do this and this and this to make me happy. No. If you pull that plug out, really love can flourish. And this is what happened to us. And then we married again. I had a third child, and now we're living a up and down relationship like everybody else. As we are humans, we have bad days and good days. We are trapped into our triggers all the time, every day. And it's okay. It's okay. But it's all about, Alex, I think, and Andres, I think you have your story also with your accident and being an actor. It's all about knowing yourself. And when you know yourself, you can regulate yourself. You can regulate your emotions, and you know where the triggers are and how to put a tirita in Spanish, we say, a fluster. How do you say that in English? A
Cushion
tape. Yeah?
or a cushion or a tape, a
Oh,
divider.
a tape on your wound. When you put like a little bit.
Band-Aid.
Yes. And if I can do that, I have the biggest power in my life. If I can do that by myself, and not mommy, and not my husband, and not my company, and not my boss, I myself can put the little tirita on my wound when I'm triggered. Yeah.
Mm. I can I add on to that? Because I love what you just said so much there with, again, Franca, we do have a very interesting timeline of like professional work with acting and then personal training and obviously now coaching, which I love. And when you mentioned that finding power in a powerless moment, I think about all the times I've coached so many, again, a variety of different women, age gaps between 30 to normally 65. And when you said how you can't be only confident with just men, leading into maybe that question of like how to be a high quality woman, a high value woman. And what I see in today's world, which was so beneficial in our as actors was that we voluntarily chose uncomfortable scenarios and we wanted to thrive in it. We chose uncomfortable emotions and try to connect with it. We had more compassion and sympathy with other co stars to think more sensitively, if not more considerate about everyday things, even though it was art form, we would use to translate that to have more compassion in real life. And that made you feel, in that sense, for myself as well, a passion, a great art, a great talent skill that I, committed for, till this day a little bit here in their 20 plus years. But it didn't fulfill me the way coaching was in that sense, like you said, about that bonding, that connection, that engagement with another human being. And what I feel like in today's world is that obviously not everyone's an actor or doing those things to practice that stuff in stage. Is that but what happens is they isolate themselves, these women who let's say are attractive or successful or independent or have a high value look in a way, and they constantly surround themselves in comfortable situations. And they only get that level of attention or open up more with quality potential suitors of men. And so they don't really explore, uncomfortable stage moments in life because they're just so isolated. They don't have to. They're little princesses. They're on their phone. They basically have a bunch of fans and cheer boys on their following. And so what happens, they don't get to ever explore socially, learning more about being comfortably uncomfortable and how to, you know, resolve that, the resilience, the grit, and I feel like a lot of people are lacking that strength or that backbone. We're only defining their confidence, value, quality on the love, attention. And that's what's kind of like such a high make or break, such a hot and cold, extreme meter to try to like grow from. And so I find it so interesting when you say at the very beginning, can't find confidence only in just men. And I feel like a lot of people, a lot of women specifically, because we coach women, are leaning too much into that and not exploring challenging, uncomfortable scenarios that they choose to be a part of to grow, to mature. So I think that's such an amazing story that you shared. Thank you so much for opening up about all that because that's so inspiring.
Thank you, Andres. I really appreciate your sharing as well because it opened my mind on something that I was not seeing with my coaching clients. Franca, I want you also to rebound on what Coach Andres was saying, but with one specific question. Do you
Yes.
see that with men that you coach sometime? Do you feel that there is a difference between men and women in this dynamic? Or do you feel we are all the same? I want to pick your brain because I didn't coach so many men like you can do.
All First of all, I think in a psychologically way or in a deep mental frequency way, we are all the same. We are all looking for reaching out for love, approval, security, yeah, worth. And men, in my experience, and this is really my own personal experience with especially Spanish men, yeah, German men, that they are very deep. And there's just a lack of education of expressing and developing and feeling your emotions, feeling anger and fear. Yeah, it was always in the education, like the girls have to be always the nice one and be the cute one and be pretty and shut your mouth and do what daddy says. And then the man is always like, don't cry, don't show your emotions, be the strong one. When they fall, they have to get up immediately, don't even look at if they're bleeding or not. So it's so anchored in how I deal with my emotions to be a strong man, that men have obviously more difficulties to explore themselves in a deeper way, but it's also always possible. And nowadays we are like the whole world is meditating,
Mhm.
and the whole world is changing and transformation in that case. So we have much more openness about this. And men are letting themselves be more vulnerable today. Vulnerable for a man doesn't mean that you have to cry all the time in the corner as yeah, you can be a really
Yeah.
tough businessman and achieve a lot of things and have a lot of employees and make good decisions, but also as well being conscious about your feelings. Like, when do I get angry?
Mm.
When do get I closed or I get jealous? Or when is it when I feel shame? And what is my action then? What am I doing then? Do I cover this in the ego thing of being an asshole, being much more, having my shell on and trying to pretend? Or do I just feel this and turn it into something that I want to be? Maybe more humble, more understanding, maybe more pushy, more direct, yeah? Giving a focus, being more clear about my emotions, because being clear is love. So if I can be authentically as a man clear in my anger, in my fear, in my grief, in my shame, I have so much more potential to drive into my own transformation personally, and to drive into transform other people in business, my wife, my kid, whoever you want to drive into with your change. Yeah. So men have and for me, it's very easy with men. I love to coach men because they're so two-dimensional, so easy. It's just asking questions. It's just being the mom. Just, yeah, I know you laugh, but
No, it's so true. It's
for
so
me,
true.
it's like I just have to put you on my arm. And that takes me 2 minutes mentally, yeah, mentally, or you sit in my consulta on my arm. It's also I hug them, I drive them their tears away, whatever. It's about men. It's about creating a safe room, or for everybody, creating a safe room where no judgmental is happening. So you can be the person you are, and if you give a motherly security, men open up very quickly, and they feel very quickly very safe, and they can be very deep. They are much deeper than we as women. I have a lot of heart and understanding for men, and they just need a little bit more time because society is just suppressing all. Yeah. And but on the other hand, I have to say, we have so many resources. We didn't even explore how many resources we have. Yeah. So and I'm talking about the seven sense, maybe. Yeah. We always using our rational, yeah, I know this, I know why you're doing this, the analytical mind. And then we use our body and our intuition, our memories, our experience, our bullshit that we think we know, blah, blah, blah. But we never really, and I think we have to empower our clients and also men to explore into the seventh sense of intuition, feeling, finding out the feeling between the frequencies, between there is something. And that means you have to be still and secure. And are the very little layers in between that we have to talk. And when we talk about the small little layers in between, you have all the resources to solve it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, transformation for me happens so quickly when we give a secure, loving room for what it is.
Mhm.
And then we all, men and women, child, and we all know what's good for us. I know it. I know that you know it. We have to just ask the question, like Andres says, like Alex, you said, so many questions. Just ask the questions and give the space, the time, and the room to answer for yourself. This is the magic. There is no fucking head-breaking magic about this,
Mhm.
just being and
I,
trust.
I,
Yeah,
I always say that it's just as simple as just being curious.
yeah,
Mhm.
Be interested, not interesting.
yeah, exactly.
But that's endless.
Yeah.
And so
And
That,
men are beautiful. Men are not assholes. Men are not ego shit. Men are not brutal. Everybody has their own story. But if women start to judge and to say, "I never find the right man," and they're always not listening, blah blah blah, you make yourself a slave of the man. And when you are in position 2, that means you are in the position of the man and not in position 1, with yourself, with your connected with your inner, with your story, with your experience, whatever happened to you, what you have learned, but also what you can imagine and manifesting. Then we're talking.
That's very interesting, Franca, and I appreciate your vision of men because, as Andres and myself, we do all the time, is to not all men are the same. As you mentioned, there is toxic people, but there is also a lot of good people on this planet.
Oh,
So it's
yes.
very interesting to have a female version coaching vision today. And I want to ask you, how
Yes.
did you become confident, or what are the tools? Because we talk now about visualization, like manifestation, which is
Mhm.
the number one tool that I used when I first started becoming a coach in 2007, coming to the US, learning English. I was visualizing myself becoming the number one in the world and like helping so many people. But I want to know, what is your tool to become a high value woman, confident woman, not just in love, but in life in general? And of course, Coach Andres, I will ask you the same question after. So you can think about it.
First of all, a beautiful purpose, and I'm sure you will be the best coach in the world, Alex. And I think we needed so many big time. I don't see, and there's so many coaches out there, and psychologists and mentors and whatever. And I think more and more and more, because we are so many people still are struggling with so many things just to be themselves. And so it is so beautiful that we share our knowledge together, because there is so much out there, especially when you look at all the kids that are born, and now we have so much HDHS, anxiety, and all this, and these beautiful kids, they can grow with a different mindset when the parents have that.
Mhm,
It's a beautiful thing. So in you lie it for sure in your kids. I lie it in my kids. Andres, you share it with your niece and nephews, all your experience, and one day with your own kids.
mhm,
Coming to your question, Alex, what is my secret of being a secure woman, right?
mhm. Yeah, that's you. You said it better than me, but yes, that's this is my question.
I can say that very easily. It's because I know my wounds.
Mhm,
Because if I only know my strength, like I'm disciplined, I'm super empathetic, I'm very focused when I have to do something, I'm very communicative, blah blah blah. All this is very good to know.
mhm,
But more important to know is, when does Franca gets nervous? When does she get sad? When is she angry? When am I disappointed? So when I know my wound, and that was my key in my development, and I work with my clients a lot with the inner child
mhm,
work. I'm sure you know that, with hypnosis and inner child. And first of all, we're finding out what is your, let's say, 1 or 2 deepest wounds. Like, where do I get weak as a person? And me, Franca, I know exactly where I get weak. When my husband is going drinking or having party, Franca is not being seen, and she doesn't like that. The little Franca doesn't like that when she's not be seen, and he's abandoning me, abandons one wound. Yeah. So I know I get very angry. And before, I was like 2 weeks not talking to my husband because I was like so angry with him. But I gave him the power about that, because I was 2 weeks miserable. He not, he was drinking with his friends. So when I realized, okay, this is a very deep wound of mine, being abandoned, coming from my childhood, I started to learn poco a poco. It's transformation doesn't come with one motivation speech. Transformation comes with rituals every day, like training the biceps every day, training the manifestation, training to be connected with your inner child, training to transform your behavior from the past into something that is the real Franca of today. Because I'm not 7 anymore. But the wound is when Franca was 7.
Mm.
So the abundance, my husband goes drinking. He can go drink. He's always like a super nice father. He's amazing. I love him. Yeah, I know that he will always stay with me, but Franca goes crazy when he goes drinking. That has nothing to do with him. It has something to do with me that I was probably abandoned when I was little or 6, 7 years old.
Mhm.
So my knowing my wound and then changing instead of pushing him away 2 weeks and creating a divorce, I started to learn that instead of what do I need then when Franca gets abandoned? She needs company. And I have 3 kids, they are there. And it didn't come to my mind that I can maybe go to my daughter and invite her for a cinema and have a pizza. I was angry 2 weeks at my husband. So when I learned, okay, I instead of feeling abandoned, what I need is company and warmth, I started to create my own warmth by asking my friend to have a girls' night out, for having a yoga class by my own, just treating myself, so feeding my need.
Mhm.
And this is the most powerful strength I experience and I work with my clients, that when I know my wound, I know also my power.
Mm.
That is very powerful. That's an amazing, because it's the first time that I really hear a coach saying it this way. For
Yeah.
example, for myself, I don't
Mhm.
really work on inner child because it requires a specific work that I know you did, and I know that you have the qualification. It's very rare to find a coach that use hypnosis as well. So
Yeah.
it's very powerful. Thank you for sharing, Franca, your
Mhm.
journey, because most of the women that we coach, when we talk about the wounds, they are scared to go
Yeah.
back. They are scared to re-experience the pain. They are scared to face it, which I understand.
Yes.
But thinking of what you mentioned now, it's a very powerful message. Very powerful. Um,
Very, very, very powerful.
Coach Andres, I want to hear your thoughts on your number one tool as well. What is the tool that you use for yourself to be a high value man, as I know, a good friend, dear good friend, and just a good man in general? So, what is your tool?
Well, thank you. I first want to kind of add on to what Franca said, because that was so enlightening
Sure.
to everything you mentioned about what I've learned coaching 5+ years now is that, you know, everyone has maybe a couple, if not a few, serious wounds that becomes a lot of adult triggers and
Yes.
makes you feel trapped, if not like just complicated, or are you just like repetitively doing something ending in the same place but in a different way, and you become frustrated. And so when you have that openness or that awareness to say, you know what, there is no perfect fucking childhood, family, or relationship or marriage. There isn't. But I want to better my personal piece of my life. And I want to become more understanding. You don't have to say, I like everything in my childhood or I accept. No, but you have to understand it. And so Franca mentioned earlier a while ago about how we usually worry about wounds and putting band-aids to heal wounds that are very deep. But she took it even a step further, saying you should be band-aiding your triggers before you get to the wound.
Yes.
Like let the wound heal and dry, but just stop like putting it in a position where you might pick at it. So it's like preventing those environments, preventing those feelings and emotions based on usually, again, there's always that unique situation, but 2, maybe 3 serious personal wounds
Yeah.
that creates and branches out to so many different forms or triggers that we become so just lost. And when you finally have that, enlightenment to confront that, you're elevating your floor to the ceiling of that's limitless. You're elevating your pedestal. You're elevating your soul. You're elevating your spirit to a point of accepting and growing from it. And it's beautiful because one thing I mentioned before was that, this book, Atomic Habits, which is one of my favorite books now, talks about what you said earlier. Everything you mentioned towards confidence, self-discipline, personal development, self-love. It's all about just discipline, repetition, just the way you build muscle and bicep curls and the way you run miles and the way you jot down your calories. It's just repetition. And one thing he keeps on saying in the book is that we put too much pressure to overly commit to resolving something quickly when it becomes an emotional pain or trauma. It's about just the repetition to show up every day with a positive look on a situation you normally act differently on. And just continue to always surprise yourself to show up with a different attitude. And through time, those, even if it's 1 minute or 10 minutes a day, it builds up a more familiar, truer, stronger version of yourself on how you would handle the situation. Whereas, you know what, I'm going to respond logically compared to my emotional reaction. And
Yes.
that's just basically letting time to process, being patient with yourself, understanding the same message and the same principle will get delivered because that's who I am. But the response is a little more constructive and a little more reasonable, whereas the reaction sets me back to childhood, like you said. And so I find it so again powerful for you as a. And we I've coached, or I've done a lot of other lives of coaches, but it's rare to have a coach that really open up their personal skeletons in a way to say, no, I love them because that's part of who I am to make me the best version of who I am. And I feel like if people do that more often, again, I know it's sensitive and vulnerable, but it's about becoming more familiar with it. It's your territory, it's your land, it's your backyard. Like literally scope it out to understand how to smooth it out, how to maybe trim the bushes, how to understand to get more sunlight somewhere of shade, how to basically lighten your life. And that way you don't continue to always play the victim or continue to always blame the men in your decision making. And so I find that again, I can connect with that. With I know one of my deepest wounds is my father's loss. I can go there like in a second when I was 17 years old.
Mm.
But the most consistent current one I would say with what I'm dealing with even currently today is just my injury. My injury was is August 25th is my anniversary of 5 years, and 5 years ago I was a quadriplegic, and I was helpless and defeated and lost. And I remember my therapist after my recovery really excelled their expectations on a sense. They were like, "Don't get used to this, you know, escalation of recovery. This isn't normal. Like, so just like this is an amazing start. You really stepped up. You 0 to 20 steps, and so I want you to prepare yourself mentally. Like, not everything's going to be a home run or a big steal into the recovery process." I was like, "So what do you prepare me to kind of think of?" And he was like, "Truth is, the recovery part to get there, it took everything out of you, but that's not going to be the hardest part." And I'm like, Jesus, what's what's harder than that?
What is the next step?
My God, what did I do? Well, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm like, my goodness. And so he was like living with it the rest of your life, or at least hopefully until something, eventually wakes up nerve wise, because I'm not 100% healed. And I'm not going to lie, I've lived in pain, uncomfortable every day, every minute for the last 5 years.
Mm.
And it's like maddening, but also my superpower.
This is what I wanted to say, Andres. Our deepest wounds, our biggest faults, our hurtful trauma are
Yeah.
also the biggest gift in life. So my
Yeah.
divorce was my biggest gift in life because it was the mirror of my fears, and I had to. And what is the opposite of fear? Love. So if I want to step into love, I had to look at my fear. Otherwise, I can't grow. If I want to reach to love, it doesn't mean like in a psychotherapy before with Freud, or in these days it was always like we have to sit on a couch and the God tells you the truth, and so you are the patient and I'm the doctor and I'm going to heal you. This is over with coaching, especially. We are on eye to eye. I'm side to side. You are side to side with your client. It's not a patient, it's a client who has resources. Yeah. And we are going together to just look once in a while at your fears. We are not grabbing into it. We're not diving and swimming it forever. Okay. We're just looking at it, feeling it, and realizing that this is something that I don't need anymore. This is a part from me. It is a gift that showed me something that made me strong. If I was hidden by my father all the time, I'm sure you're a super disciplined, super successful man, but you were hit by a father. But this is your strength. They came out a big strength because of that wound. But when I have a love affair with my wife, it gets complicated because I was hit by my father. Okay, there we have to talk because love is related with mistrust.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have to learn to trust into love again. So I have to look at my fear that you might hit me again because I experienced that 13 years or 18 years when I was with my father. So this is something complex that I have to look at, but not like all my life and my psychologist tells me what to do. No, no, no. We look at it and then we go into, like Alex says, we go into the manifestation, we go into the future, we go into training. Okay, you want that biceps? You have to change that every day. You have to train that. Yeah, that I'm gonna stand with my wife and I tell, or yeah, I was hit by my father and now I tell her I'm in fear.
Mhm.
Baby, I'm in fear, I'm in fear, I'm sorry, I'm in fear. And you train it every day to explore and to open up to your wife. And then poco a poco, step by step, sorry,
Yeah, it's okay.
step by step, you will get confidence and, oh, I can express my feeling and nothing happens. She will not hit me. She will even love me more. So this is a new experience, and this is the magic formula that comes. I change habits, then all of a sudden I change the experience with it. I change the feeling that comes with the experience, and then I change myself. There it is. That doesn't happen in one day, but it can happen in some months, in some weeks. We have a lot of resources. We have everything what we need in us. And I believe that more than ever, everything what we need to find love, to be successful, to feel secure, to be the best in whatever, the best coach,
Mm.
like Alex says, you have it already in you.
Mhm. I have two questions for you, Franca, please. Number one,
Can I real quick,
yeah, for
two
sure, Coach
questions just to
Andres.
add on to that because I want to make sure we close up that section of what she just
Of
expressed,
course.
which was so powerful. About you just said another one. I'm jotting down on my notes. You confront your fears from your pain, or at least you find out what your fears are from pain, and that's hit me in the heart right there because my biggest fear is being vulnerable, asking for help. It's always been.
Yeah.
Always been. I always taken pride in my appearance or my physical strength or, being fatherless at a young age at 17, senior year of high school to like, I got this. I'm gonna prove dad. I'm gonna prove God. I'm gonna prove I got it. And so to the longest time, I was getting in my own way, not even knowing. And so my injury forced me to
Mhm.
embrace
Mm.
vulnerability and help and
Mhm.
literally helplessness in myself.
Good
And
for you.
I saw what you said again about abandonment is that what we think in life, and again, everyone has their own version of it, is that we think, if we don't confront our fears or wounds like that, we could still produce a pretty good life, if not
Oh,
an up
yes.
and down, zigzag, very successful, accomplished life, which is
Yes.
beautiful.
Mm.
And so when you take the desire or interest, if not the curiosity to look past, you know what I mean? The deep end,
Yes.
I was forced to. And again, it was also 2020, pandemic, paralyzation. I have no other choice. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I literally need someone to feed me or scratch my face or whatever. And so that became a new territory of me that opened up the range, if not the light, the truth, the power of, oh, wow, that's what it feels to be helpless or ask for help or lean on somebody or really depend on something. I mean,
Mhm.
fully to live. And those are extreme situations, but I was like, I empower them by removing the power in myself because now they feel, gifted or chosen or whatever. Thank you, whatever. And so I'm like, and then I get that back. Whereas like almost like I did them charity in a way. And I'm like, huh, I've been avoiding this because I'm afraid to ask for help or feel sad or weak or soft or vulnerable. I trust myself. I really do understand what I'm about. I need to practice that kind of lingo. I need to practice those situations a little more because now I'm seeing no seatbelt in the range of self confidence or self awareness. Now I'm like, let's go. And now I've become more of a better version overall of who I am, asking for help, being vulnerable, being lost. And that is what I feel like people don't understand. That really extends your range as a human being to a point where I can go as high as possible, as joy and life and love as much. I have had amazing moments, and I can go down to the darkest moment within that next 10 minutes. And I find that in the sense of not being weak. I know I felt
Yeah.
all of that, and I could be there anytime. And that makes you a very um, unique individual in the sense to try to help with, because now I can talk and relate to everybody in the sense of thinking we all have that story. The details are different, but we all have that story. And so for you, again, it's so have another coach again to open up on personal things, which I always find it was so um, amazing about coaching compared to therapy. I love all help in that sense, but I always say I've had clients tell me many times it's so raw with the coach. It's so real. It's so relatable. It's so like, and I mean, I want to jump in the game and win the game for you. Whereas therapy, it's more of again processing, unfolding, really. And again, both are beautiful. But what you just expressed, it really is going to inspire so many people more than you even know to
Mhm.
uh, turn your negatives into positives.
Thank you, Coach Andres. I think it's a beautiful message. And I can rebound on this with one of the two questions for you, Franca, because I was visiting your website. I look at your content. You're really providing a lot. But I want to challenge you on one question for
Please.
everyone listening. Do you really believe that everyone has everything within themselves? I want to hear you on this one. Do you really believe that all of your clients, you can help anyone when they want? Let's say it this way, like not someone you're trying to help, but they don't want. When they come to you, for the people that will listen to, to this podcast, do you feel that you can help them?
Yes. I mean, it's not about me helping them. It's more like I am a company for a while, if
Mhm.
you want that, to show you your own resources and strength. So because we have so many and we know, but sometimes we don't have access to it. Just not because we are stupid or we don't know. It's just that we have not practiced to have access to the clearness that I need, to the angerness that I need to tell my husband, just shut up, okay? Or to the openness of showing that I don't like this and I hope you like me anyway. So all these resources have access to it, and I can just accompany you for a while to learn to have access to your own resources. Obviously, we all have our own story and we have all our um, wounds, yeah, and some things are very traumatic that, yeah, then maybe I'm not the right one. Maybe you want to be in that forever and it's good that way. Yeah. And you
Mhm.
choose to be in that state because it's safe and it's good that way. Everything else is more painful or you cannot cope. Also, fine. It's not on my responsibility to decide that. But
Mhm.
if you come, it's already a step into your transformation if you ask Alex or Andres for an advice. So you already in your transformation of finding who you really are and why you are here and what do you want to do with your precious time. Yeah. And what is your goddess? Where's your light? Where you really shine? Where you really bright? When is Alex like really laughing and in his potential? When is Andres really like exploring and feeling everything in him from the gut to the brain, you know? So when is that? And what do you need to create that all the time? And I think it's worth to look at it,
Hmm.
and it's on you. It's your choice. We
I No, I just love your response because I was challenging you, but not really challenging you because I was expecting the yes, which I feel because a lot of people will say, but do you think that you can help me? You know, I have this childhood, this past relationship, and I want them to know that yes, it is possible. And especially the way you said it was very well said. So my next question is, how do you work with your clients? Like, for the people, women, men that will listen to this episode,
Mhm.
um, how they can seek help with you. Like, what will be the next step for them? Where do you want to redirect them? And how do you work with your clients? I'm curious, even myself, to know how you help your clients working on their wounds and their potential.
I normally work online, walking with them in a spiritual frequent way.
Mhm.
COVID learned me. I'm a very physical person. That I come from stage, so I always thought I need the client in my room. I have to smell him. I have to touch him. I have to stand up with him. I have to jump with him. I have to kiss him or whatever. It's not the truth. COVID taught me another thing, that over the TV, let's say, over kilometers far away, you can you can create together something that is your journey. The emotion is the same, the fear is the same, the sadness is the same, the frustration is the same. It's because it's all on you. It's not on me. I don't have to be in the same room. I don't have to hug you or push you, or you don't have to listen even to me. I have to just activate all your resources by asking questions and guiding you shoulder by shoulder by the tools that you have, the tools that I learned through hypnosis and inner child. And I guide you, so you learn yourself and feeling yourself what is good for you and practicing. And I, in my program, let's say my program is over 10 sessions. I push that through 4 to 6, 7 months sometimes. And always start with the strength. Okay, what is there? Who am I? Think, who am I? Okay, what am I good at? What is my success? Where was I really shining? Then we go through over the values. Then we enter into the wounds. We do the inner child work, we do hypnosis, and then I teach you how to do visualizing and have access to your inner child yourself. So when the trigger comes, I call my little Franca and I know exactly I'm in the trap. Have I a good day? Can I get out or not? And it's fine. It's fine that sometimes me myself, after 20 years of self development, and I'm infinite in wounds, infinite in potential. And it's always every day a practice. Okay, I'm in the trap, I'm in the wound again, I'm the little Franca again. Do I have a good day and I can turn it around?
Mhm.
Or maybe I have a bad day and I just be very humble and mercy with myself and say, okay, I am a human and today it didn't work. Okay. And I go to sleep and I relax myself and I do something that is good for me. And tomorrow's a new day. Okay. So I empower them to have resources that to themselves and not depending on me, having connected to their own. This is super important, that you can fly by yourself.
Mhm. And so, if they want to reach out to you, is it on your website, on Instagram? What are the information you want us to share with the people that will listen to the podcast?
All the people that are listening to your podcast, I'm sure they're very familiar with all the social media. You just put Franca Villarroel and you have my podcast there about leadership. You go on my website francavillarroel.com, or I'm very active on Instagram. um, I'm sure that everybody picks the right person for themselves to be on the side for this right moment.
Mhm.
And if you want to find me, you find me. And if you want to find Alex, because yeah, he's a man and he's French and he's so nice and loving, or I have Andres, he's so lovely and confident and so manly, then this is the one, you know? So I always trust that whoever comes to me, I have something to learn from that person. So
Mhm.
first of all, this person is not, I'm not there to help. I am there to learn from that person.
Yeah, as a coach, we learn a lot. That
Yeah.
is for sure from every single experience. I've been coaching for 20 years as well. And it's just like every day is different. Every situation is different. Every human being is different. And we have this discussion with Andres all the time. It's every day is different. It's fun. It's really fun to be a coach. But I wanted to make sure that they understand that they can find you on Instagram, on your website, because there is so much content that they can, get from you. uh, Personal question, my last
Thank
one,
you.
and then Coach Andres, if you want to ask more question. But I wanted to know Franca because I didn't know you before this podcast, right? Andres was telling me a lot about you and your family, and it's like, wow, I was blown away. But I'm more blown away now that I'm talking to you because I feel the advice, the experience, the professionalism as well. So I wanted to know if you have one mentor or one person that was like, okay, I'm reading their book, seeing them on stage, like one person that you said, this is my mentor, if I can say it this way.
Yes, I have two mentors, if I can.
Okay, let's go with two then.
Thank you. Thank you for your French cheekiness compliments. So sweet. Um, Obviously, I have my own coach. I must say, I'm a coach, but I am not perfect and I will never be, and I don't want to be. So I am very curious that somebody is always looking at me from the outside, because we as humans, we cannot look us from the outside, just to a different state, you know. It's impossible for us to reflect ourselves completely. So it's always good to have a mirror. And I have my own coach. He's Spanish, and he invited me into inner child and hypnosis. He's here in Marbella, and I see him every month, just to make sure that I'm on the good side.
Mhm.
And if I go to my coach and I'm really happy and I think I have nothing, he cracks me and I come out crying. And I love that because he's really challenging me. Second, I have a second mentor that I'm training myself today, and I'm sure you know him. It's called Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Mhm.
I listen to Joe Dispenza every day. I train every day in my gym. I train my body every day. I train my mind every day. I meditate every morning with Joe, and he's my best friend. And I love him. And I went to all his retreats and to all his progress workshops and so on, because it's really a beautiful thing, especially for men. I went to his retreat in Basel now with my husband, and he wanted to kill me first thing. He said, "You owe me something." And I go to the spiritual shit and blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Well, I bought the ticket. There's a whole line of my friends. They want to come. You can come or not." He said, "Well, you owe me something." And then after 3 days, he said, "Well, I owe you something
Something.
for the rest in my life." And we meditate with 8,000 people. And Joe Dispenza just, we always need to, as human beings, understand first rationally what you're talking about. If I go somewhere and you do voodoo shit, it's very scary because I give all your power to yourself. So people don't like that because it's scary.
Mhm.
Yeah. So people like to understand first what's going on and how is my brain working in my body and my cells. And Joe Dispenza does it so well. He scientifically explains you everything what happens when you meditate, when you breathe. Breathing is just the simplest surviving tool that we need every day, and we are not conscious about it. And all the power and transformation and healing and love is in the breath.
Mhm.
Okay. And if we understand that rationally and then practicing it physically, you will start to and then mentally doing your affirmations, manifestations, like you, Alex, saying, I am good, I am worth, I am secure, I feel safe, I am calm, whatever. If you train your brain, your brain believes it.
Mhm.
It is like that. The brain functions like that.
Yeah.
Eh? So, and if you do that every day, 5 minutes sitting with yourself in stillness, with Joe Dispenza or with Alex or with Andres or whoever makes you breathing and meditating, just looking into the inner, it will change your life.
That's a
And
very powerful message.
I'm doing that with Joe Dispenza every day. But you can do it with whomever you want, who's inspiring you.
Mhm.
Really
Eh,
doesn't matter.
But I wanted to ask you this question specifically because it is not someone I would recommend myself. I never, it's not that I don't like it, it's just I never experienced it. But my partner in France, she's an amazing neuroscience coach, the number one in France. She trained with Joe Dispenza, and so she's my partner. So I truly believe in Joe Dispenza. But that's why I wanted to pick your brain as you, Franca, because it was very interesting for me. I wanted to know, like, okay, who is the number one mentor for you? Um, would you like to tell us the name of the one in Spain, in Marbella, or you want to keep it private for yourself? The person that.
Yeah, his name is Miguel Angel.
Okay.
Miguel Angel Cuerdo,
Okay.
and he has a website.
Yeah. I like
And
to make everyone participate and share the names. I
yeah,
feel it's very
yeah,
empowering.
yeah.
Wow. Coach Andres, do you have any question to wrap up to ask
Yeah.
Franca?
Uh, this has been amazing. I have to say, yeah, I'm a fan of Spencer
Yes,
over here.
Yeah,
big time.
you have the book. It's amazing.
Yes.
Becoming
Oh yeah. And
supernatural.
my
Yeah.
question's a little off topic, but it plays a big role because I noticed in your qualifications of it, and that's something I've been implementing the last 2.5 years of my coaching. After relationship coaching, I expanded to life coaching and now fitness nutrition guidance as well. Because
Mm.
I'm going
Mm.
to be a 360. I'm also corporate certified, but I haven't practiced that yet, and that's a whole different ballpark. So I'm just trying to be a 360 well-rounded coach, one-stop shop. And one thing I have been really pushing in more lately, the last 2 years, is nutrition. And so, you seen as a qualified nutritionist and a well-being counselor, I see it at how where people want to find ways to create new habits or a better life or personal development or self-love, self-care. I feel people undervalue, overlook the most important decision you put in your body every day. And
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't mean to stereotype, but most women don't very eat healthy. They go all day, coffee until 4 p.m. They half nibble on something. Not you, Franca, because I know what you all about. And I'm telling you, like, I know most women, they just whatever, get by in some form. And
Mhm.
I'm looking at it where it's like when clients have committed to that nutrition part of just, tweaking. We're not doing no carbs, no sugar ever. It's not a boot camp, but finding the right times and places for moderation gives you more clarity, gives you more clear thinking, gives you more of a peace, not so clogged or muddy thoughts, which plays a big, huge role on how you process information or at least how you react to news. What's your take, if not on nutrition being like just a core element to personal self development?
I agree. I mean, the basic is what I'm asking always my clients when they come is how's your sleep?
Yeah.
How's your workout? How's your food? Yeah.
Hydration.
Also, I mean, food with hydration.
Yeah.
Yeah. How,
Yeah.
how much do you drink? Yeah. These 4 pillars, I cannot talk with you about your potential and your problems and your difficulties when I am not sure that you are able to provide and nourish the needs, the simple needs of surviving, which is sleep, move, drink, and eat. And after that is love. Yeah?
Mhm.
I cannot talk about love when I sleep bad or when I only eat hamburger. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have to then talk first about your relationship to food. Yeah. Was
Mm.
it maybe a treasure? Was it a castigar? Like, was it something that was missing in your life? Yeah. What is the emotional relationship to food?
Mm,
And now we're talking.
Mhm.
But first of all, are you nourishing yourself and are you self caring yourself?
100%.
Mm.
Yeah. Big
I
time.
I,
could,
I just love the question and I love the response. And regarding the question, I was thinking, I think the society is a little bit more challenging for women. I've coached so many women, they don't eat because they don't want to gain weight, because they feel like they need to be a supermodel, etc. So they are triggered with their mind, and it comes from the childhood, it comes from everything that we share. But Franca, I have really loved your answer. Like before to talk about love, we have to talk with the real needs that we have as a human. So
yes.
it's very interesting. I feel like we need to have you more on this podcast, Coach Andres. We need to do this more often.
Well,
Let's do it.
we can do what we want, you know. Nobody says nothing.
Okay, so let me re-invite you very soon to this podcast. I will make sure that they can ask us any question. I feel it was so deep that I learned so much that I need to reflect myself on what we say today. Like honestly,
Well,
honestly.
I would like to invite you to my podcast next time so we can extend our conversation maybe about your experience, about what are you confronting nowadays? What is the society showing you? I would really like to ask you also, what is love really mean to you, Alex? What is love meaning to you, Andres? I have a lot of questions. If I have in front of me two love coaches, I want to know what you think love is. How do you experience love, you know, and how you transmit love to other men and women and all these questions. So I invite you to come to my podcast next time.
Oh, let's do it. I love it. Thank you so, so much. Thank you, Franca. Thank you, Coach Andres. Always amazing insight as well. So remember to share this podcast to everyone. Give us the 5 stars review. Send us any question. And I will, of course, add all the link, Franca. Sorry for my French accent. Villarroel. That's the way we say it in France. So I will include all the link. Of course, coachingwithandres.com with the one and only beautiful Coach Andres, and you can come to French Relationship Expert. You have the podcast there. Thank you, Miss Franca. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, both of you. I love it.
Pleasure. Pleasure. I'll do it again soon.